Hi, this is Isabel. So today's video is about how to jazz up your resume. I know I said before in Switzerland it's more conservative, so you don't want to do an overblown type of resume with different colors, but you want to do a resume that's going to be different than everybody else so that you can get picked up or noticed. So it's always the same. It's the right middle ground, basically. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to have a completely blank resume. So what are some of the tips I can give you? So tip number one is really to use those platforms now that are everywhere, and I'll give you two that I can think of that are great. One is Canva and the other one is resume.io. So both of them, so resume.io, I believe there's a fee to use it, but for Canva it's free. So you can do a resume on Canva and it looks a little bit nicer in the finish. So what I like about those platforms where you can enter information is that basically you just have to key in the content and the format is done automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about, the space and the font, how it goes with Word where you spend hours and hours just trying to get everything lined up. And when you move something, another thing moves. I know I hate this. So with those platforms, actually, it helps with the whole presenting and making it look good and putting the picture in the right place, etc. But it doesn't replace the content. So you still need to do a very professional photo. You still need to think about what you need to put in your resume. So the content part is not going to be done automatically. And I do spend a lot of time with people, with candidates, building that content because that's very, very important. So number one is use a platform to take care of the basically the aesthetic part of it. Number two is you need to choose your profiling. So, and this is probably the hardest thing for expats because they're very much generalist or they've done several careers. And when they enter Switzerland, they realize that it's a specialist market and they need to pick a field and stick to it. So it's a little bit of time maybe that you have to do some soul search to figure out what it is that I want to do and why is it important. So profiling yourself is not something that I can resolve in a 10-minute video. This is why I have a full course and I'll put the link below. It's basically the webinar to the course, so it introduces you a little bit what's in the course. But the reason why I have this class online is really to teach you step by step the process. So there's many videos, there's a lot of content and documents and exercises because I want you to do these steps. So it's not something I can do in a YouTube video, in a short video. It's not something I can do via a live Facebook or a live YouTube either. Because you need to also take the time to absorb after each portion and to apply and to test. So a course for me is different than teaching maybe something quick on a video. At least that's how I look at it. So in videos you can get some tips and it helps, maybe to figure out what's missing, but it's not replacing a full course or a full training on something. So number two is really work on your profiling. Again, if you want to, before you get into my course, if you still want to watch some videos I've done, and I'll link that up, I've done some videos on positioning yourself and profiling yourself. So basically with the keywords and trying to understand your field and where you want to work. The webinar is giving you a lot of tips as well. Just the 1 hour webinar that I put together is already giving you a lot of information on basically how to choose the keywords that you will put on your resume. So in Switzerland, it's very important, this whole positioning yourself, because no one is going to guess what you're good at. No one is going to say, oh, Isabel, she's worked there and she has this experience, so I think she'd be great in this job. They're not going to do this mechanic. You need to state it out for them, what it is that you do and how it can help the company. So it's your job basically, and you can work with a consultant if you need to have someone help you figure it out, like myself, but the recruiter on the other side is not going to do the work for you. So maybe that's the difference between this country, Switzerland, and other countries where maybe recruiters are more involved, and that's the feedback I get. If you apply in the UK, for example, or other countries, recruiters spend more time with you. They will also help you profile yourself and work on your resume and stuff. In Switzerland, they don't do that. In Switzerland, it's you need to have the right packaged resume from the first time that you send it to them, they won't work with you so much. I mean, in smaller recruitment firms, they may do that, especially if you're in a field that's really in demand and they don't have a lot of profiles. And because they want to maybe pass you on to their client as a recruiter, as a placement firm, they may spend a bit of time to work on your resume, but I doubt it. Most of the time, candidates, they don't work so much with candidates because they're really there to place you with the client. So it's a different way of working. You know, it's also how you introduce yourself. You know, maybe during the summer also they have a bit more time to work with you, but in general it's not their job. That's not what their mission is. Their mission is really to place people, so you need to respect that, and you need to work on yourself before you introduce yourself to them. So again, it's what I said in my previous video on Monday. Do the work before, prepare yourself, understand the culture, so that by the time you get to presenting yourself, to applying, you're 100% squeaky clean, basically. So I like to use this word because I think it's really the way I look at it on the Swiss market is that you have to have the perfect profile already built. There's no trial and error so much where, okay, you've sent your resume 5 times to the same firm and you're trying to send it a 6th time and maybe this time it goes through. You need to do it right the very first time. So just basically look at it like, you know, you need to prepare yourself again. Number 3 is invest in a professional photo shoot for photos that you're going to use on your resume and also on your social media. And the reason is more and more recruiters now are looking at your social media as a proof of concept. So if they want to see what type of person you are, if you're trustworthy, what you're doing on social media, they will check that. So again, it depends on the person who's doing the screening. It depends on how many open vacancies they have, you know, and if they have the time. But I would say part of screening people, especially when you get to later stages in screening, because the first screening is usually done via a machine online, the applicant tracking system. But once you get to the final list of candidates that you want to call, probably there will be some checking in social media. Again, out of doubt, I always say out of doubt, make sure you're happy with your social media, that you like what you have out there. So if you have some photos that you think, yeah, you know, it's great for friends, but I don't necessarily want a future employer to look at this, then probably the good thing is to take it out. So social media right now is just as important as the resume. Some companies don't even ask for a resume. I know you can immediately use your social media to apply, or your LinkedIn profile. So you need to be happy with what you have out there. If you have any doubts, or if you have things you're not sure about, better to check first. And I know this is a hard line, because for people like me who are quite, I would say, interested in branding, or who are sensitive to branding, I can tell I have this in me where I'm very good with image. So I understand the power of image. I understand branding also based on my background, because I have done some work around marketing in my previous jobs. So for me, it's easy. I can say, you know, I know exactly what type of photo to put. I know how to brand. I did my own branding. Everything you see online about me is done by me. I haven't recruited anybody to do my social media or my marketing or anything. So, but it's natural to me. But now I understand that for some people, it's really, and I realize that with clients, it's not natural for them to say, oh, I know exactly what kind of photo I would like about me, and I know exactly what type of banner. For them, it's really a lot of work to take their profile, their career, their their expertise, and put that into a photo. Basically, it's really hard work. So, out of doubt, rather work with somebody that will help you get that package, because once it's done, that's it. You don't have to do it every month. Once you have your photo taken, I have a client, for example, I just saw her the other day on LinkedIn. After we've done all this work together, now she has an excellent photo. Of course, she has a great job by now, but she's done an excellent photo. But we worked on her photo maybe 10 times before she had it right and she understood what I meant. So if you go and look at her photo now, I won't say her name, but she has a very nice LinkedIn photo and she has a very nice banner. It changes everything. And she realized herself how it completely took her from a nobody to someone who actually gets some views on her profile. So it makes a whole difference. Now we live really in the world of image. So Everything is about image and what you put out there. People get a perception about you. So if you want to multiply your chances of getting hired, you need to invest in your branding. You need to invest in your photos. Make sure they look good. Again, it doesn't have to be done by a professional photographer. You can just maybe have a nice background, you know, wherever you are right now. Just make sure the light is right, that you're dressed up, etc. And you can come, you know, you can have an end product that's decent. It's never going to be the quality of a headshot, a professional headshot, but at least it's decent. If you have absolutely zero budget, I would do this. At least, you know, dress up. If you're a lady, put your makeup on, look nice, pick a nice background, and at least it helps. And you know, it differentiates you from someone who just took a quick photo and didn't put a lot of effort into it. So basically, it's all about the effort. You can tell when someone just threw a photo out there, you know, the way they put together their profile in comparison to someone who spent some time doing, you know, wordsmithing the wording and, you know, trying to get the best photo out there, etc. So that's the difference between average and excellence. So that's how I want to end this video. Do you want to be average or do you want to be excellent? If you want to be excellent, it's going to take a little bit more hard work, a little bit more of your time, effort, but in the end, you'll be rewarded bigger for it. So I hope this makes sense for you. If you have any questions about how to brand yourself, how to go from average to excellent, I'm the right person for that in terms of career for Switzerland. So feel free to comment below and I will talk to you soon.